Yes, I. Welcome back for episode 3 of London Open TV specials. And today we have a very special guest indeed. It's an honor to have you on here, Dr. Aboo from Galaxy Afewi FM, leading Pan-African conscious station from South London from over 30 years ago. That's done so much for our community that I just think it has to be brought to the forefront. So, Dr. Aboo, it's an honor to have you here. And if you'd like to introduce yourself as well.
Well, give thanks H, as we said, Vodum Da'a, the true spirit always present. And it's good to really sit down, with young people.
Yes.
To get young people vibration. Because I was young myself.
Yeah, so for those of you who don't know, you probably heard me say it on various ones. I was on Galaxy for like a year or a year and a half. I think I always refer to it back as my media training. You know what I mean? But some people think I've been to media school or something when I've been doing stuff online. No, I was on the mothership. You know what I mean? Then I came off the mothership into the social media. So I learned so much from being on Galaxy FM. And like I said, when I found them, it was just on a day and I was just scrolling through the FM dial and I found Galaxy and it was on a Sunday and I think it was you and what's his name?
Erakuti.
Not Erakuti. What's his name who does the reparations and walks with the stick?
Kwaku.
Kwaku.
Yeah, Prophet Kwaku.
Prophet Kwaku. Yeah, that was like the first kind of encounter I had with Galaxy and I was blown away. And them times there I was in a place of just reshaping myself. I think I was just coming into my 30s. So it got me back to what I was on because how my conscious journey started was from the Dr. York, New Albion, from Brixton underneath the Recreation Centre.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that's where I started. So when
you see what happened, H, you was taken through a media rite of passage. As African people, we always go through rite of passage. There's many rite of passage, Sometimes when they talk to our people about rite of passage, they don't go think about taking off your foreskin. Like a circumcision. No, you can take the young people, especially children, take your child through personal rite of passage, community rite of passage, emotional rite of passage, social rite of passage. You understand, Community rite of passage, it's your responsibility to take your child right through the community, point out certain things to that child, introduce that child to, we lack those because we forgot that it takes a village to raise a child.
Yeah.
We have to realize that I'm at a stage where I'm a pensioner. That's what they say. But, we never retire, but we live in a place where it run like that.
Yeah.
They give me what they call it, freedom pass or a thing like that. I use it to take my grandchildren them around.
Yeah.
And show them things, see it, because their mother and father, they are at work. We are grandparents, a national is different from a grand national, the things them that we could not do as mothers and fathers. Yeah. We have the time now to do it.
Yeah.
See it as grandparents, and we should use these things instead of use your freedom pass to go and pleasure. Because pleasure is one of the biggest killer amongst us, Yeah. Biggest killer blood. We put on things on our body that later on gonna cause us sickness, but through the pleasure.
Yeah.
Weekend time we go out and get drunk and then later on we liver start to play a pleasure. Like a pleasure, my brethren. So come in amongst you and see what you're doing.
Yeah.
Just realize that you don't drop the button, my youth.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I like how you brought up the whole grandparent situation because I think we're living in a time now where it's difficult for people to be grandparents because they've been.
Difficult.
I'm saying because they've been told to work longer, especially like in the Caribbean community. Like for instance, when I was young, I could go to Granddad's house. Granddad was there, but say like my pops, he's the sound man. He's about.
Yeah, man.
He's not there, or like other people's grandparents are still like working like their youths. You know what I mean? Because the way the system's draining them out. So it's like you said, it takes a community to raise a child. So that big part of the community going to grandma's house every Sunday or every Saturday and all them things there, it's kind of fading out. You know what I mean? and I think that's a shame, because this is what I'm doing here. Like, I think the bridging the gap between the elders and the youngers is important, especially in the social media space, because I think a lot of the elders, I don't know, like not you, because you're active, you know what I mean? You've been doing your thing, but I'm saying like in the sense of like the social media space, I want to see more elders on these social, because I think the knowledge needs to be passed on, and I think the way you lot express yourself is so unapologetic, and it's like you're a walking library, you know what I mean? Well, not lying, but you know what I mean? You're just a walking like library, basically, you know what I mean?
Experience.
So, experience, yeah, the experience.
You know?
Yeah.
And this is what, you see, we can't walk like one-on-one is invisible. This is the problem that we have. And it's a colonial virus.
Yeah.
Something that we picked up.
Yeah.
Them said the greatest luxury. Them said invisibility is the greatest luxury among some rich folks. Because certain people doesn't see you unless you have a status.
Yeah.
You know, see it, you know? So we get confused, you know? We move away from communication and end up in sophistication. You know, if you not dress a certain way, they don't want to see you. If you not speak certain grammar, them think so you're an idiot.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and this is colonial virus, blood. You know, we have to realize that we have been conquered by a certain set of people, you know? And if we stick in this state of denial, then we'll never get out of it, you know? I'm telling you, H, you know, I'm a recoverer. I'm recovering.
Wow.
I am recovering from white privilege addiction. Yeah.
What does that mean, white privilege addiction?
Because every test I take in life, are you taking life? Are he taking life? Whether you're in the Caribbean or the motherland. It's white people set it. You know?
Yeah.
We can't, because you see, they trained us to remember that we can pass their tests. But we have to ask ourselves the question, when was the last time we passed our African tests? So you see, I'm not in a state of denial, my brethren.
Yeah.
You know, see, because if I want to recover from this addiction, I have to acknowledge that I'm an addict. So I'm in the state of recovering.
Yeah. So you're coming to realize now. So, like, your message to like the next generation would be like to realize younger the addictions and to cut it off.
Of course. You know, and what I'm saying that's through this addiction, we don't get funded for the cause. We get funded for the symptoms.
What do you mean by that?
Well, if you're gonna talk about youth in gangs and knife crime, these are just symptoms of a cause. What caused this? You know, what caused these things? So you may get funded to solve it in Brixton, but it bursts out in Austin because all their funding is the symptoms. So what it do, it turn some people into fundamentalists. They know how to get the funds, but they never address the cause. And those, no, it's true.
Yeah.
And those organizations are group that put together to get the cause solve and move towards the cause and bring forth solution, they lost their funding. You know, see, so it's we got to know that it's we got to do for we.
You know what you said there, yeah, makes sense because say like even when I was doing security, it's a different example. But once we clean up the area and we dealt with the problem, the funding was gone. So a lot of these organizations that are dealing with knife crime and whatnot and all these things, they don't actually want the problem to go away because that means the funding goes away.
I sit on the Youth of World panel in Sadok for over 25 years.
Yeah.
Voluntary. Where the courts send back young people, first offender, and we get back into college, into work, into maybe the housing or things like that, you know? And this is what I do, you know? And this is not, whether I said a page, you know, what I'm saying is, when we leave this realm, when we go through that transition, we take nothing with us. You understand, you know? Our purpose on this is to do good towards one another, blood. You know? If you look on the amount of wealth this planet produce, there shouldn't be poverty.
Oh, 100.
You understand? But you see, when capitalism is in charge of everything, capitalism is in charge of everything.
Yeah.
It's in charge of your politics. It's in charge of your religion. You know, see it, you know. Why they don't call the tithe in capital? They call it collection. But it's the same thing.
Okay.
You know, see it, you have been kept. You know, see it, you know.
Yeah.
And all of these things is because you have been conquered. You know, you're using the things them that the invaders give to you. What I have one question for the Africans, for our people. What were you doing before the invaders come? You understand? Because everything that you have today is what the invaders give to you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And it moves you away from yourself.
So it's kind of funny you say that because it's not funny, but in the last episode I said something we were speaking about something similar, but in the sense of like what baffles me or confuses me or whatever is that if we always say that we were so strong, so rare, how did these people take us over? Was it a divine thing? Was it something to do with the Most High? Because, like, in a sense of a punishment, because we went back on ourselves, we went back on our ways. So these people were created to punish us in a way, because it doesn't make no sense in the sense of the how intelligent we are, how strong we are, how much resources we have, and all of these things combined. So it always baffles me, like, how did this happen? Look how small England is. Obviously, I can see now that they're losing their grip. This is why they're doing all this madness at the moment.
They said the one that gives sometimes easily fall. You know, sometimes you're giving something to someone and the way they take it, sometimes it knock you off balance. Sometimes you give or lend someone something to someone, and sometimes it become a battle for you even get it back. You know what I'm saying, my brethren? What we go through is because we are good. It doesn't matter what we go through. All we have to just remain good. You know? Look what we go through as a people. Yes, we're walking around with a suicide belt or a bomb and strap on ourselves to kill anyone, because we know. We know that the Almighty, and I'm not talking about no God, I'm talking about the Almighty.
Yeah.
In Africa, they call him Ludimare, and you understand, I move on those vibrations. You know, see it, you know? What they want us to be, you know, they want us to apply their method on each and every one. So, an eye for an eye, you know? And we only apply that on ourselves. We never go and apply it for the policeman that killed one of our brother or sister. You know, so what I'm saying, my virgin, I don't follow those things. You know, see it, you know? I start to look within myself.
Yeah.
You know, see it, you know? And know that if I be on the frequency, because it's a frequency you have to be on, you know, the frequency of nature. Because you're in a society that is anti-nature.
Yeah.
You know, see, them take you from a natural lifestyle, And right now you're into alternative. You know? And I take it from a natural family. Now you're in a nuclear family. And you know, when you have an explosion, there's radiation. So the radiation is what you're seeing out there in the symptoms.
Yeah.
You understand, you know? Young people on the street and that because they break up the family.
Yeah.
You know? You got to realize, H, right? The greatest people I ever know. Not what I read about or anything. I talk about what I know because you have to act on what you know. Is that pioneer generation. Our parents. You understand?
Talking about more like the Windrush generation.
No, I don't call them the Windrush because not all of them come from Windrush.
No, that's facts. Cause
I don't use those kind of things because the Windrush right now sink underwater. So with the backside, I'm going to name my foundation. You see what I'm saying? That's the biggest problem why the African Caribbean community is in this quagmire. Because for a foundation like that, remember, you know, that pioneer generation, when them come to this country, they were young people, you know. I want people to understand that, you know. And look what they are create. They are one of the greatest unification you ever come across because today we have Jamaican mother and Barbadian father and all of these from that generation.
Yeah.
You know, one of the largest black real estate that put together was that generation. One of the greatest communication family link-up was that generation. If it wasn't for that generation, many of the Caribbean islands go bankrupt. We have to realize, you know, what I'm saying that if we did build our foundation and improve upon them so and them partner, now we would have a bank. If we did do all of these, but we rather go and manage Barclays and Lies and all of that. Some of the children of that generation let them down. Because they give up the purpose for your position amongst Babylon. We have to speak it as it is.
No, it's fact.
You know, see it, you know?
Yeah.
When I said the greatest people I know, my brethren, for a generation that have so little and do so much.
Yeah. And you
think
gotta
about it.
When they came here, like what else they was putting up with.
Hey.
With the fight from
young people.
From the English people.
They was younger than you, H.
Wow.
You know, when my mother come here, she was around 23.
Yeah.
You know, see, you know?
Yeah.
And when they come in there, you have no one to turn to but each other. They could turn on themselves, but they turn towards each other.
Yeah.
You know, plus those that was coming from Africa also. So it's not only Caribbean people who were here. You understand? Yeah, people come from Ghana, Nigeria, and all them things.
Yeah.
Because my mother used to talk about Adi. Him know him from in the 50s. You know, I born in this country in the 50s.
Okay. So you're a baby of the Windrush generation. Yeah. So you're first generation. Yeah,
my parents sent me back to Jamaica when I was 6 weeks old with my grandfather.
Wow.
You know, I born July and I think the riot, 58th riot was in September. So I said, you know, and I give thanks for that journey back to that wonderful island. You know, see it where it prepared me for the world.
So I got a question because you're the right person to ask. So a lot of people I'm speaking to now, like Jamaicans, there's been like a lot of fight, let's say Caribbeans, but Jamaicans predominantly are saying that there's like a fight against us to bury us like we didn't do, or our grandfathers and grandmothers didn't do what they done, and it's pushing us back. So like, you know, like when we say, yeah, we're proud to be African, we say that. We've been pushing love for Africa, like, but people just take up the bad side. But if you go back to reggae, it's there, it's all on wax. You know what I mean? The proof's there, the love that we had for Africa, but it's like, in this generation, we don't feel like we're getting it back. We feel like we get blamed for a lot of stuff. The gang crime, we always get brought up. The violence in music and all this stuff, it always gets pushed back on us. So for youngers coming up now, there's a sense of like, it's reversed. When I was younger, people weren't proud to be African, but now it's kind of switched to the Caribbean for these young youths. Like, oh, you're Jamaican, oh, is your dad there? You know what I mean? It's kind of switched.
Because you see, what I'm saying that he does not know himself. You know, You know what I'm saying? That he's on a pleasure. He's on a pleasure ride.
Yeah.
He's on a pleasure joy ride. He's on entertainment. You got to move towards inspiration to inspire you. Because when you're on entertainment, it contains you.
Yeah.
You know, if you listen to the music them that is going on, because all our movements, you know, it go with music.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, see it. All our movement here, whether here or Africa. In Africa, especially in Nigeria, you'd have this wonderful, wonderful brother, Fela Kuti.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, see it. Yeah. Those were social commentary, blood. Giving those who, you understand, a little insight.
Yeah.
You know, see it. You know, when they listen to man like Peter Tosh, Bob Marley, that's what they were doing.
Yeah.
They were inspiring the people. Today, many of the artists, them that doing inspiration, because if them inspire you too much, they don't get a green card. Or they don't get a visa.
Yeah.
Or they don't get a contract. Or they, you know, so what I'm saying that when we give up our true purpose for a position, then we can be bent to fit and end up on their benefit.
Yeah. Yeah. So then you're controlled.
Of course you're controlled. You know?
Once you're under their thing. Because I think, yeah, the music, like I always say that, because me, myself, I do like conscious hip-hop, innit? But it's like that, like when I was growing up, like gangster music was kind of blackballed, but now it's the other way around. It's like conscious music is the most blackballed music. Like to get on these big platforms, the Capitals, the BBC, and that. If you're talking conscious, it's like you're not. They don't allow it to get the airtime. But if I'm talking about licking down the next brother, it will get the airtime. You know what I mean? And a lot of this music, these people are making nowadays, it's
Capital.
Yeah, it's not in tune with the times.
But it's go with the capital.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know, see what I'm saying that? Look at reggae music. Reggae artists. If it wasn't for the herbs, man, them all that wouldn't be where it is today. Now, we think used to send man a studio and pay for man for come. It's the herbs, man. You know, see it, you know? The herbs, man. Me not talk about the weed, man. Me talk about the herbs, man. The true herbs, man, them.
Yeah.
You know, as is them put it, they were the main investor in African culture, you know?
Wow. Yeah.
I'm telling you, no, you tell me a black business that was back in reggae music and those things. No, you tell me one. Whether here or there.
Yeah.
You know? It's when you see money start to flow now and certain people, certain things. But it's those herbs, man.
Yeah.
You know, see it? It's those herbs, man, that was even helped to produce some of those inspirational, you know, when we have event in the park. If you remember in Peckham, when them have Black People Solidarity Day from in the late 70s, 80s, they never have anything in the park. What I'm saying that everything that we bring as a prototype, the system use it. And now we have to pay to go in at the park and all of them things there, you know, see. But it's we, children of the pioneer generation, children of the kidnapped people who bring life into this place. You know, see, it is our parents that put back the great into Britain.
No.
You understand? And I will never forget them. Just as I will never forget your parents because they walk the same road, blood.
Yeah.
And we have to overstand that, you know? But as I said, we're in a system now where invisibility is the greatest luxury, especially when you're in a certain position. You know, see, look what happening to our people them there in Kenya, in South Africa, in Zimbabwe, and all of these places.
Yeah.
You know? Because you see, those are not African leaders, you know. Those are European project managers.
Wow. yeah. Just managing the.
Yeah, they just manage it. You know, see how they carry out the European project better than their own people project.
Yeah.
Look what I'm saying, Virgin, and we must overstand that. Most of these African leaders, where did they go to school? And many of them first schooling start with the missionary. Them, you know what I'm saying? Because what I'm saying, there's 3 types of Africans, you know. You know?
Yeah.
Apart from the African who can and always doing what he can, you have another one called the Africoon. And you will never see that coming home soon. And the Africoon is like people like the conservative leaders and all of that. These are Africoons.
Yeah.
And then you have the Africant. The Africant, he can't do nothing for himself. That's why he's sitting there waiting for somebody to come and save him.
Wow. Yeah, that's a brilliant breakdown. Like the free.
No, we have to be real here. I know, say the whole social engineering blood. You know, see it, you know?
Yeah.
They use poverty as a weapon.
Yeah.
And every Sunday, let us pray to get you out of poverty. And the people who set up these religious things, they are the richest. So if you want to get out the people out of poverty, you take some money you have in the bank.
Yeah.
You know, see, but that's what they use. If you keep the people in poverty, you know, they don't rebel, you know.
They're always worrying about money and.
Of course. So why do you think they keep the Congo?
Afloat.
So why do you think they can keep the Congo into a war zone? Because anytime Congo stabilized, the truth manifests. Because a lot of people were telling that civilization started in Ethiopia. No, civilization started in the Congo, the center of Africa, where the woman stand in the middle of the night and map the cloud. It was a woman that done it.
Say that again?
It was a woman that stand and map the cloud.
Wow.
You know, see it, you know? Because what you don't have to understand that, let me tell you that 24 hours make a day. That's a lie.
Yeah.
It's 12 hours make a day. And the other 12 make the night, ain't it? The night energy is controlled by the female energy. The moon and the water and them things. You understand? The day controlled by the masculine.
Yeah.
You know? When these European chauvinists, haters of women, go into Africa, they never like what they see. They never like to see the position that the woman them that was in charge of. The woman them that did have the role that they call Eid.
Okay.
Yeah?
So is that where they get E from?
Eid.
Okay.
The post that they hold. They hold the 4 major position.
Yeah.
Health, education, economy, and defense.
Wow.
A lot of people say, woman. No, because for you to defend yourself, you have to have nurture. Without nurture, you can't defend yourself. Who first was defending you from those parasites in your body?
It's real. Yeah.
You know, see it, you know, you see, how we're looking at defense is through the eyes of the oppressor. You know, we are looking through a distorted lens. So we move away from the principle, you know, of the woman, the greatness of the woman. You know, the first teacher, the first doctor, the first was the woman.
But that's why a lot of these holy books is man focused.
It's a diversion.
Yeah,
it's a diversion. When they go into Africa, you know, the role where them see him of the woman, it was good. You know, when they mention the woman is good, the title were good, so they remove one of the O. And what you have left? God. Okay. God is not the Almighty. Yeah. God is an entity of the European. It's called Government Ordinance Directive. Yeah. God only work for European.
That's deep still.
No, it's a living truth, blood.
Yeah.
No. Now, if one can tell you, if you can tell me one day that God ever do anything for Africa, now show it to me. Show me one day where God ever do anything for Africa. No, let us be, I don't care where some of these mentally sick slavery mentality mind people are gonna say about, yeah, you know, and I've seen angel, and when you ask them what color is the angel, you realize what I'm saying, man. What I'm saying that.
So do you think? Sorry, go on.
What I'm saying that, you know, the majority of African people are junkie blood. You know, suffering from white privilege addiction. You know?
Yeah.
And they make up things, blood. They make up things, you know? We can't move towards these things. We have to move towards restoration to restore ourselves.
Yeah.
You know? If you take your car to the garage and tell say for instance, the bonnet get damaged, and you said, repair this for me. If you know, and then put a BMW bonnet on your Mercedes.
Yeah.
But if you said to him to restore it for me, you got to restore it to the, you know, and this is what we're not moving toward restoration, you know.
Yeah.
You know, doctrination. You know, and doctrination is not restoration, blood.
Yeah. So do you think that like these holy books, the Quran, the Bible, the Bible especially, because our community, I think Caribbean is more Bible ridden, you know what I mean? Do you think there's no truth in them, or them stories wasn't from us? Because some people might refer to them as our history books, but they've just been written and indoctrinated in a certain way. Like, was there a figure named Yahweh, Jesus? Is that just a myth?
Well,
from your perception and your knowledge and your experience?
Well, you said if you're an actor, you need a script. I'm going to tell them they call it scripture.
Wow. Yeah.
No. We have to be honest.
Yeah.
You know, you go to the church Sunday morning this week, and next week you go again and you ask them if them learn anything different from last week. What I'm saying, my brethren, you know, go and look in the book of psychiatrists. And it said any people that use belief as their day-to-day liberty is mentally sick. I never make up these things because I know how we come to have these things. These things were beat into us. These things were beat into us, my brethren.
Yeah.
You know, you go and look, you go to Jamaica and see the amount of church and look how violent the place is.
They got the most square.
You go to Africa, and see.
Yeah.
No, you go to one of these church and you put on ordinary clothes and go sit on a front bench and say, somebody not come and take you to the back. What I'm saying is capital blood, a capitalism blood. Capitalism is running the world. You know, see, the two main things that the colonizers leave with African people, you know. The two main things. You know, and we'll kill one another for them thing there. Politics and religion. Heavy PR. Heavy PR because number one.
Yeah.
You know, see it. You know, when you go to the ballot box, what you have to do? You have to make your St. Andrew cross. Yes? And when you go to the pulpit, you have to make your Latin cross. So them all upon a crosses. You know, see it?
And to vote is to give your energy away. Vote, electric. So we're giving away our energy to them.
Yeah, because they never bring you to the selection. You're going to at the election.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That.
Yeah. You know, like slavery now, because you go back to, because you brought that up. So, like, was it just from the Europeans, or did it start before the Europeans? Because some people talk about the Arab slave trade was before the Europeans, which was more heavier in a sense.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Of course. You know, the Arab slave amongst our people was brutal blood.
Yeah.
Because them used to make some of our men eunuch.
What's that?
Cut off their balls blood.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You know, you tell me, for a people to do that with another people, you know, so sometimes you got to just look at life in the blood and realize that what the world even going through It's the choice that they make before. It's the consequence.
Mm.
Your man go covering it up.
Yeah.
You know, it's a lot of cover up, you know, because you don't see it. Even certain things were happened 20 years ago, you don't really see it.
Yeah.
Think,
Yeah.
you know?
And certain stuff is coming to the surface now. Certain truths like that was conspiracy theories like 10, 15 years ago is truths now.
But what that one was saying it, you know. You know, that because you never have a status. Because as I said, if you don't have a status, somebody pay you no mind. You know?
Yeah.
You got to realize, my virgin, you know, and we have to rise up those wonderful men and women whose shoulder we're standing on. You know, because they sacrifice a lot.
Yeah.
You know, we just couple months ago we lost our dear brother Elder Irikuti.
Okay.
You know, where we used to sit with and those man helps you. Cause it's the mind, you know.
Yeah.
It's the mind, you know. If you get the mind right, you know, you see everything, you know. See it, but the mind is distorted, you know. You ever go to the fairground and you have some mirrors who can make you look slim or fat?
Yeah.
And that's a distorted lens where many of them have blood.
So now you went back to Eric Cutie and Galaxy. That's what I want to ask you. When you started Galaxy, or was it Eric who started that's the question. Who started Galaxy?
Bongo Tete.
Bongo Tete, yeah.
Nana Percumbra by.
Okay.
You know, see it, you know, and it started at 1984.
Okay.
You know, I joined Galaxy 1988 at the age of 30.
Wow.
This year I'm 37. No, this year I'm 67.
Okay.
37 years at Galaxy.
Wow. So why did you get in? What drew you to Galaxy, and what was the climate like when you lot started Galaxy at that time there? What was the climate for Pan-Africanism and a black conscious radio station? Because you was on the FM dial, so it was a different. And yeah, what was the climate like in general?
Well, it's the needs of our people. Because our people were paying TV license to the BBC that doesn't even play their music.
Yeah.
You understand, you know? So we see the needs, you know? And the purpose of Galaxy Radio was for our parents and our people, you know? That's why Galaxy never advertised. You understand? Because if you're going to do certain things, you have to do it for the cause, not the capital. Because when they go with capital, they cap your blood. You know, it's no matter how we, you know, what I'm saying, that Galaxy is the only station that take them to the High Court. You know, because it have to be recorded.
Yeah.
You know? And even when you go there, then keep on asking, what is this de-brainwashing? And you have to try to show them because of the colonization.
So they was trying. What was they trying to say? That's a brainwashing because you're saying de-brainwashing.
Yeah. Because they know that we are, you know. Because what I'm saying that now here, Galaxy is one of the oldest. You know, see it. You know, you know, Galaxy incubate many organizations that you see today.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
You know, we never run away from you because you're a Christian or a Muslim. I'm gonna say to you that no, you can't come in here and promote those things. Yeah, we can debate them, we can reason around them, but you don't see it, you know. And you know, when Galaxy started, it was every weekend from Friday to Sunday. Friday 6 in the evening to Sunday midnight.
Yeah.
Very disciplined to always set certain bank holiday. Yes, we come on and then we start to come 24/7.
Okay.
You understand? And they never like the information them that we're given, you know, because they want to call us. They want it. They even tell us that they will give us license and all of these things. But what I'm saying that, you know,
because it don't make no sense how they say they didn't want to give you license and the FM dial is no longer on the FM dial. What's the significance of being on a FM dial? Because I think there's a high significance to being on the FM dial, and the reason why they don't have a lot of black stations that speak them things is it got something to do with the frequency and all of that? Because the FM dial seems to be a very poignant thing for the industry and stuff.
Yeah, you can pick up even by the poorest of the poor. You understand, you know? It give you that communication.
Yeah.
You know, but you have to realize, you know, couple years ago when they was changing over from analog. Remember when they was changing from analog to digital?
Yeah, yeah.
Everyone run and get them box, ain't it? You understand? So what I'm saying that if you care about certain things and information and things, then you got to meet partway. We all have to make the effort.
Yeah.
You understand? You know, today we go around with some of the elders and help them to get themselves on digital and all of those things, you know, because this is what the community have to active to what's going on. You know, but when you're going to come in the community and talk collective and then live your little personal life, that's why I say I don't support entrepreneurship. I do not support that.
Wow. I remember you told me the meaning of entrepreneurship.
Entrepreneurship is a French word. It mean to make profit. That's all it means.
Okay.
Go and check it out for yourself. You know, see it, you know? And since that word started to flash in the black community, the African community, you see the demise of collectivity. Because that one will come in and do his workshop and do that, and they go and they never bring back anything to the collective. No, you show me an entrepreneur. You know, see it, that bring any liberty to our community or even to the motherland. You know, because everything is built on a status.
Yeah.
And it, you know, I need very good at it. And when you start to look down, I don't associate with people that look down on other people.
And it's been like a training. I've seen this shift of like these buzzwords, we call them, when they're more prominent in our community. Just like when Beyonce, for instance, came up with when she came, independent woman.
Yeah.
That was a whole new mindset being pushed on the black women.
Entertainment, it contain you.
Yeah.
The Beyonce and the Jay-Z, these are people who is on the white people contract to carry out a certain way. We must overstand certain things, blood.
Yeah.
You know? We must overstand certain things. The Oprah Winfrey, the all of that. These are people on the white people contract.
Yeah. Yeah. No, definitely.
You know?
Yeah.
You know, it's whosoever pay the piper, call the tune. How can you sit as a rising mind person and think that David Lammy is there for you? No, let's be honest.
Yeah.
How can you sit there and think that those who is on the honors list is there for you? We got to be honest with ourselves, my brethren. You know, and realize, you know, it's you got to be there for you.
So in saying that now, like as like a lot of younger generation trying to find themselves now, there's so much information around now, and I think that's a problem because when I was younger and just before the internet was popping in it, you know what I mean, really popping off, I had to go to Brixton to get the knowledge. It wasn't just available in the palm of my hand. So to young people that's trying to like reconnect with their roots, what do you think that they need to unlearn, and what do they need to relearn or to learn?
Read everything that you manage can read. Question everything that you think need to be questioned, you know, and reason with each other. You know, reason it with each other, because each one of us, we only have part of the jigsaw. And by we coming together and bring it together, we can see a clearer picture. You bring your piece of the jigsaw, they bring, and that is within the reasoning. But if I'm going to hold this and think that, you know, I know everything with this, and this is what happened, my virgin.
I think that's the problem, because instead of going to their grandfather, they're going to Father Google. So everyone's got this in their hand, thinking they know. You can't tell me nothing. I'm gonna Google it. You know what I mean? So I think that's a part of the problem is there's too much knowledge available and it's too easy accessible. So it's making everybody think that they know everything
It's
when you
too
never stop learning.
Too much answer without question.
Yeah.
Because if you was to ask certain question, if you don't mind, if certain family them run you out the house, certain company move away from you. Some religious groups stone you to death. You know, so that's what I'm saying. That when you're living in a society, a community like that, you know, that's control, my brethren.
Yeah.
You know, see it, because these things, you know, religion kill critical thinking and common sense.
Yeah, for real.
You understand me?
Yeah.
You know, we got to look within ourselves, you know, and know that nature have no profit margin. Think about it. You know? So if nature, if God represent nature and God represent where these institution, how come there's a profit margin when they go into this place? Because they are not of nature, blood. We got to be honest with ourselves.
Yeah.
We have been given a scripture to follow a script. You know, see it. We are following a book, a version. You know, the Bible was commissioned in 1611 and finished in 16. It finished in 1611. That's when the completion of the King James Version. You know, and 1620 is when they sail from here to New York, where it become New York. It was the York family that changed that place I call New Amsterdam to New kind of thing. You got to know the history.
Yeah.
The Bible was commissioned that it could give the York family a manual that they could follow, because they never have nothing to follow. So them create all of these things, and they commission William Shakespeare and I think 46 other scholars to put this thing here together.
Yeah. Because that's why it's written in like a Shakespearean language.
Of course, you know, and it
art, vowel,
real
art, and all these
you
things.
know,
Yeah.
you have to remember that the first celebrity that white people create amongst black people, you know, was the pastor. You know, we can't deny it. You know, you know, and if you talk to many white narrative, them tell you that their first profession is prostitution. I never say that. This is what they said. Oh, our first profession was prostitution.
They say that's the oldest.
No, for them.
Okay.
But the oldest profession for us African was farming. You understand? So that means said, if you're gonna tell me that your oldest profession was prostitution, that you were damn pimp and your woman were prostitute, because you're talking about yourself. And this is what's going on today. You know? Because of certain position, certain African will even prostitute, pimp their daughters and their son for capital.
Yeah, that's happening a lot.
No, it's a truth.
No, it's facts.
You know, but it's one thing you got to remember. If you kill your brother for capital or your sister and call yourself an African, that's not, because African does not do that. You know? It's only African or Africant will do those things.
So when did you see that change in the mindset of our community of going into this whole? Because I think when the Rush generation came, they used to rely on each other. They had to stick together more. When did the separation come? When we started to like form gangs and all of this type of mindset. I'm Peckham, you're Brixton. When did you see that change in the community and in the musical world?
When certification override experience. You know, when those come in the community with certificate, with no experience, they look down on those with experience. And by they looking down with those with experience, so the young people are look down upon them.
Yeah.
You understand, you know? And if you come to bring some form of development to young people, and young people look upon you and say you're not even a show respect to those that were showing me certain things before you come, then I'm just gonna diss your blood. You know, where you see the government, the local authority will bring in someone from Manchester to be community development officer in one of these boroughs. Doesn't know the history, doesn't know the terrain, doesn't know. So what them do, them drop you into this main, and because of capital, you don't even question it. You don't even question certain things of what they're doing to you.
Yeah.
Because you have your mortgage to pay, you have your this to play, you know. There's certain things that I don't rush tonight, my virgin. You understand? You know, I'm a qualified facilitator in strengthening family, strengthening community. You have that program where you take young people through a certain rite of passage, you know. I go through that training with Dr. Marilyn Steele. She's not with us today, gone on to the ancestors. You know, see, what I'm saying that if we're gonna just do things for capital, then we're gonna be kept. You know? I never go on a program to go into prison to talk to young people. You understand? I try to be on a program where I catch them before they go into prison.
I see what you're saying, because a lot of the stuff is aimed at youths that are already bad and gone. So the youths that are good in our community, there's no light on them. It's always, even when I listen to podcasts, I went jail for like 5 years. You never hear people say, I went uni for 5 years. You know what I mean? It's always the jail mindset that's being pushed in our community. It's always the criminal mindset that if you look at it nowadays, because I got a son that's 20, like a lot of these young youths are really intelligent and smart, but it's just not at the forefront of our community. You understand? The forefront is the badness, because the badness is the entertainment, and like you said, the capital. So that's what's being pushed. Because I think when you really think about it, I think the bad youths are kind of easier to control because they're just on a money thing, innit? You understand? They're just on a savage thing. So if you give them a check,
it's not a bad youth. You know, it's a victim. You know, what I'm saying that young people is not responsible for the chaos. It's adult.
Yeah.
You know, young people, they do have a vision, but they need to be pointed in the right direction.
Yeah.
Them have to, you know, young people have truth in their blood, because what I'm saying that when our parents come here, they were young people. You know, so I have a lot of respect for young people. And I know that many young people that is even into chaotic things, there's a pagan mentality behind it. There's adult behind it. You know, see it, you know? It's adult. Look at what's going on now. It's adult will sit down making decisions to bomb the shit out of one another.
Yeah.
You know, see it, you know? Most of the trafficking and all of these things and the assassination is adult.
True.
You know, see it? So what I'm saying that, you know, they are diverting us. You know? I was a youth myself.
Yeah.
You know, see it, you know? And I know the energy. You see, you got to understand the spirit that our young people admire in. You see, when a youth reach from 14 to 21, he's into the spirit of courage. That is when you go around back, say you go back, smoke a cigarette and do all this. Because you have a little courage, you want to sneak out, go dance and all of these things.
Test the boundaries.
Yeah. But the good thing about it, when I was a youth at one time, that there was some man amongst us who point in the direction. You know, today them man are not pointing, and some of them not pointing in the direction because they don't want to act their age. You have man out there, all die the blonde out, die the grey out time here. To fool some little girls out there and try to really, you know, but we have to be honest, blood.
Yeah.
You know, see it, you know? So how can you, it's more easier for a young people to pretend that I'm big.
Yeah.
Then a big man I pretend like he's a little boy. They say that wise man can play a fool, but a fool can't play a wise blood. And I'm telling you, a lot of people are saying, oh, the youth, they must respect the elders. That is true, but if the elders have no damn respect for themselves, why should you respect them?
Oh, that's facts.
No. We have to be honest with ourselves, We are African. See it? We are African people. When you go to Africa, I went to Africa many times and I see counseling set up on the trees and the elders and what I'm saying, they come up with good solution. See it, When you'd have like communal marriage and those things, you never have divorce like when you have these now religious and government marriage. We have to understand how we move away from our frequency. You hear them said, if we don't know ourselves, if we African people does not know ourselves, our spirit will get drowned in other people's culture.
So, like, when it comes to, like, when our elders first came here, like, wasn't they in the church more? Do you think, like, a part of it is that we don't have a spiritual school we go to? Because I believe this. I believe that each religious organization, whatever it is, or spirituality is a key to one's soul, and what works with you works with you. What gets you through that time gets you through that time. But I think what it is now, when our elders first came here, we had that place where we used to go. Now a lot of our young people don't go to church and all these things. Because I think if we believe in this table as African people, Caribbean people, if we say this table is the creator, it will turn into a powerful thing because of the power behind it. And I think it's the what do you call it? It's what's behind it, innit? It's like you could be African spirituality, you could be Christian, but are you a good person? Are you a good person? So it's just if you're, but predominantly behind the mask is if you're a good person. So I just think that what's being pushed now is just like a lot of like, my religion's right, your religion's right, because I'm right, you're wrong. Not are you good, are we the same tribe? Are we on the same mindset? Because what you do behind closed doors spiritually should be your thing. You understand? I don't know. I just...
No. What you're saying, what I'm saying, our people, they might have those school of thoughts within them, but they were young people. Some of them never even explore Jamaica full. Some of them don't even know the next parish. They just come with what they have, but they was good at art.
Yeah.
None of those people come here with any badness in them art. You understand? Them use what they have to the best. Always see the best. When those people cook, they never just cook for the family. They always have some left in the pot just in case somebody passed you.
That's a big point, because everyone cooks for a lot of people now, not everyone, because you might say, I don't. I'm saying a lot of people cook for the day now. I noticed that when I was younger, my mum used to cook, the food used to last like all 3 days, you understand? Like, and there was extra in the pot. Like, even when I go mummy's house now and cuss, I'm like, Mum, how are you just cooking one piece of local chicken?
Yeah, because you see the family disintegrate. The family, you have kitchen now in this country that is smokeless. All you have is something in the corner called micrograve waving you to your grave.
Yeah.
You understand? Because we move from the natural levity to alternative. Our food now become fast and junk.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's it. What I'm saying that's my brethren, when you look at that generation, that wasn't certified, and give us certain justification, you realize that certification take you far away from your own. You understand? Because many of them have degree now, and master. You understand, But they are degree away from themselves and master of other people's things. We have to be honest with ourselves and give thanks to those. I would look and see the state of some of them today, they're in court fighting for the little legacy that that generation have left. No, you tell me. Can a person, whether say in their right mind, do things like that? If we're in our right mind, with the love and care for our own brothers and sisters, would we have them in court now with just lawyer and name the money? That something is wrong, blood. You know, see, because you never hear of some West Indian and some Jamaican a clash in a them time there. You never hear them thing the blood. You know? But today we are certified. You know, work with paper and all of these things, and believe me, these are the situations, you know, see, that we are in. As I said, when certification override experience, then we are in serious trouble, blood.
So on that note, have to bring this up. Reparations. So, like in the sense of that, because I remember in Galaxy, Rasta, was it the people that organized it? I forgot the name.
Rastafari movements.
Rastafari movement.
Yes, Jablu and B, Sister Zebi, and long time Rastafari. I do those things,
Yeah, so but this movement that goes on the 1st of August every year in Brixton, every year, in the sense of that, like reparations, a lot of people say to me when I go there, we shouldn't be begging these people for things. Rare. So what is the significance of it, and how can people understand what we need to gain going forward? Like, what baton would you pass on to the youngers to say, this is the approach we need to take? And do we need to reparate ourselves, or do we still need to be asking these people for reparations? Or like Galaxy says, I heard it on Galaxy first, reparations, is it just a must? It has to happen.
And it will happen. You know, it will happen. You know what I'm saying? That it doesn't take a sledgehammer to crack a egg. Just a little tap and you're getting there, you know? Well, what I'm saying, that if you're going to see it from a capital part, then even your mind get capped. Because the first question is, so how much I can get? Say, you're dealing with a little pimp mind, little idiot blood. I truth may I tell you. You know? And you have some of them that the system pay them to come and say these things.
Yeah.
You understand, you know? Because if you're saying that you're dealing with liberation, you know, see, and you don't have an exit plan, then you're not dealing with liberation, you're dealing with containment.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
What I'm saying that if you don't have an exit plan within reparation, you know, see it, you know, because you have to plan to exit this mindset.
Oh, facts.
You know, reparation is not repair. Reparation is restoration. Full restoration. Mind, soul, and body. And you say, if you get the mind and the body and thing, then you will know what to do with the capital.
Yeah.
You know, see it? Because when you have the capital and the mind, can I bring it right back into the certain things? Because the mind bring the body into disrepute, you know.
Yeah. So it's the state of mind that we need to deal with first. Because like you said, a lot of people, when you bring up reparations, the first thing they talk about is money.
Yeah.
You understand? And I used to say, but now you just said this respiration or
restoration.
Respiration. I used
Restore.
To say, reparation is to repair our nations, is to repair our mindsets and stuff. You know what I mean? But I just think a lot of people get it twisted with the money thought. Like, but there's so much more things that need to come before the money.
I mean, what I'm saying that, you know, they repair them very good. Because you have a lot of African that pretend like he's German to the repair that he go through. Not restoration. You know, and this is what I'm saying. For years we have been repaired. You know, we hear someone he talks of them more brutish than you know, see it, you know. But as I said, I born here.
Yeah.
But I never feel brutish yet. You know? I never feel brutish yet. Because there's nothing wrong in that way to make I feel brutish. You know, we have to be honest with ourselves. You know?
Yeah, no, I agree, man. Because like when I first went to Jamaica, I've never felt so at home.
Of course.
You know what I mean? And even me, like I got mixed heritage. You understand? But I still felt so. Like I felt different there. I just felt because the image we get of Jamaica, because I think when any nation comes here, they change automatically, just the way it is. Like for instance, like when Jamaicans come here, they might change. They might get more on the capitalism. They forget community. There's money. This set of Jamaicans, not that era. I'm talking about like this era. So they come here on whatever. But when I went there, I was surprised of how much love that I received.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean? Nah. When I used to say I'm English because I got me. No, man, you're Jamaican. You're Jamaican. You see what I'm saying? So I never thought I thought it was gonna be like English boy, bear that when I go there. Like how because a lot of Jamaicans came to my school, like they came, my school used to let anyone in straight.
The poorest part you go, the better treatment you get.
Okay.
You understand? You know, you go up in the hills amongst the Rasta man, them, you see a different liberty, you know? You know, man talk to you about traveling and they never travel. Because their mind is intact. You know? You know what I'm saying? That, you know, when I go to Africa, I don't spend much time in the capital and I try to go to the village.
Okay.
You understand? Because the capital is weird. Just like every day London now, it's different from if you go some other place outside. Because it's the most trickiest part you can think of. You have to be strong today in the capital of a country. You know?
Yeah, it's the same with where you go more outside. You see more like authentic British people. You know what I mean?
Of course.
Like because they've all moved out the city, kind of.
Of course.
You know, it's just probably like back home.
You know
what I mean?
You know, when I'm trying to make one understand, when you go through English grammar and read book like Oliver Twist, you realize that these people was abusing children long time before they come in Africa. You understand? And some of us are just playing catch up. You want to talk about say, I'm a bad man. You're not a bad man. You're a wannabe. Because the most deadliest in person, you know, see, it is a wannabe. Because sooner or later, he end up as a killer bee.
So even that term bad man, like, what do you think how it's changed between back in the day and now? Because I think there's a big difference between like what I used to think a bad man was to what
a bad man in them days was a protector. He protect his people in the village. He stand vanguard. You know, see it and protect the community from those virus that was coming in. You know, I grew up in a.
Because sorry to cut you, because a bad man, that was probably
a
phrase that was gave to us by the media.
Aye.
This bad Jamaican man or this bad man.
Right.
Then we just start using it as our own. You know what I mean? So that makes sense in the sense of like, because if you was protecting the community and you beat up two NFs back in the day, this bad man beat up two. You see what I'm saying? So that makes sense, but we got it twisted now. A bad man is someone that duppies their own people.
No, man. No. Those are mad, man. Crazy. Not even say mad, because mad is freedom. Crazy people. You know, people who make capital run them.
Yeah.
You know, so they will do this and, you know. But what I'm saying that when I was growing up, those men and women was protectors. Protecting the community and all of these things, you know, and then stand vanguard. You know, there's certain things that come in the community. You know, see it?
Yeah.
But you see, from we lost these things from a lot of foreign things. When I grew up in Jamaica, you know, I never grew up come see TV, you know, TV come see me.
What do you mean?
Television come see me. That means that we were doing long things as young youth man before this box come to take our mind in a different way. We were finding our own way of amusement and all of them things there. We never go buy toys. We make our own things like that.
Yeah.
You see that our mind was in development, blood. You know? When I come to this country and see some of our people that is here, you know, I realize that this country turned them into selfish beings. Because many of them have been bent to fit. You understand, you know? And that really shocked me when I come here. That's why I end up...
What age did you come back here?
21.
Oh, wow. So you've gone for a while. You was born here, but you was really born in Jamaica, really.
Yeah, for real.
You was just birthed here, but you was born in Jamaica, innit?
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, wow.
You know, and I give thanks for that.
Yeah, of course.
I give thanks for that.
So do you remember when you first came here, like stepping off the plane and all them things there?
Yeah, man, when I come here, I was shocked.
You go straight to Peckham?
You know, no, Birmingham.
Okay.
You know, Birmingham, because my parents was in London because I born in East Dulwich Hospital.
Okay.
But my parents then moved to Birmingham after and things like that. You know? And when I come here, I think it was when Callaghan was handed over to Margaret Thatcher.
Yeah.
I think it was around the 70th, you know? And his PA strike and that. But I was a very inquisitive youth, you know? I have to know what going on, you know? And I remember we went to the Midland and take the test with the police, you know? And then going through the bullring and see a sign said, join the army and see the world. So they said, well, we are a people of the world.
Yeah.
So, you know, I joined it. It was a great experience.
Okay, how long was you in that? In the army?
In there for around 5 years, you know.
Wow.
You know, when I went in, my picture and things was in the newspaper, and because I was one of the, they call it the Pegasus Award, the best fieldcraft that passed out.
Okay.
You know, see it. And I come out with the same newspaper headline because it's 2 court-martial them didn't coming out.
Okay.
You know, and that is, we just stand up and fight for your right, blood, because if I want things that they can use rank to hold in a certain way, you have to just bust up a boy and make a boy know, say, no. Where I come from, we don't put up with them thing there. And it may cause some setback in life. Yeah. Because going through that, you realize that you even get blacklisted, but you have to know that you were black all the time, and you now have to bring yourself to a certain different way.
Yeah. Blacklist, you can't blacklist or blackball black people.
Understand?
Yeah. It doesn't make no sense.
You know?
Yeah. So the next thing I want to ask was, so there's a lot of discord between the youngers and the elders in our community. What could be a way to bridge that gap?
There was no discord, you know. You know, because me and you don't have no discord.
Yeah.
You know, so what I'm saying, this is a thing that they spin by the media. You know, and without proper investigation, some of us run with it. You know what I mean? You know, I know many young people, and I don't know many of them that is into anything that is, you know. Because what I'm saying that you have to realize.
I'm saying like little things, like say like when I was young, man used to roll like in big groups, for instance. But if we see an old woman come or a person with a pram, we're getting out of the way. These youngers, I'm telling them, right, the woman's got a pram, get out of the way. You get me? Them little, or like say if you're getting on the bus and the elder's getting on the bus, we make way for the elder. But a lot of these youngers will they'll go in front of the elder. So there's a certain discord or disregard for elders now. I think I've seen what I've seen.
Because they have been taught, what I'm saying, my brother, when you grow up, your parents taught you these things. Show you these things, you know. I response, I demand. That's what a good parents do. When you lack those things, when you're in low response, low demand, that's when, and this is what a lot of young people is going through today.
Yeah.
You know, see, when I'm saying that, my brethren, it takes 2 to produce 1. You know, and when that one come and realize it's had been shortchanged, because now we just won, like the contract break. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And sometimes the situation be beyond control. But you have to bear in mind what that young person is going through. You know? You got to bear in mind what that young people is going through, because when as I said, we are coming from it take a village to raise a child. So where we're coming from, there's no one parent family.
That's a big point, because I noticed, even like I keep on going back, when I was younger, like my mum, she was like on the block and that, like she knew everybody. Like people knock her door, can you look after my beaut? It was an open society. So a lot of parents, even me, 2 house parents in one house, you know what I mean? Me and the missus, whatever. Like it's like we're bringing up our children by ourselves though. When I was growing up, my mum would say, go to Ken's house after school if I'm not in. The elder on the ends, I'll not Ken's, you say, here's a food and, you know, it's there, or not
You
this.
see, what I'm saying that our first church was in the front room. Our first reception, and it was in the front room. Today, the front room just have a plasma radiate the place. We're not using that even for family connection no more. You know? What I'm saying that I've done many home visits with young people, because a lot of people said, you know, so I said I'd rather come in the home and talk with the young people than bring them into a recreation. You understand? Because that's why they must even give it that name, recreation center. You know, if you notice, where they're doing development, regeneration, there's a lot of killing also. Because that's the way, you know, it's a sacrifice. When you're breaking ground, you know, in the Caribbean, you may kill a goat or kill a chicken, yes, and then kill one away. And we don't realize what's really going on, you know. What I'm saying is that living room play a great role, play a great link up, you know. So when a parents come and say, can I talk to my son or my grandson? And, you know, I say, well, you know, I'll come. And ask him to invite a few of his friends. And when you go in there, my brethren, and you realize that, you know, because no one sit down and listen to them. You know, young people need to be listened to. You know, see it, before you even start to say anything, listen to them.
No, for real.
Because they're just coming from the source. Many of these young people are coming with truth, you know. But they need the right, you know. All right, just imagine you're looking at an arrow. The young people is the tip of the arrow. You know? And the elders is where the feather is. Should guide them to the right target. But if the elders want to be the tip and is blunt, because you're an elder, you don't have the energy as the young people. So why are you fooling yourself? You know? You know, put yourself in the position of purpose.
Because the elders are for counsel and youngers are for what?
For war.
For war. Yeah.
You know, see, but and this is what I'm saying, you know. And it's not like said the elders that is causing problem is the one that chat a lot and do nothing. You know?
Yeah.
So he have a kind of, where I say, well, I wouldn't call it, he have a mouth that doesn't have a mind. Just chat where it want. You understand, you know? But one thing we have to understand. The young people is not the problem. Never was.
No, it's facts.
You know, the majority of the problem that is causing today is adults. You know? You know, there's
because how could the children be out of place if the adults are right, then the children will be right?
Of course.
It's that simple.
Of
You know
course.
what I mean? In a sense, it makes sense still when you put it like that. Not even, I wouldn't even just put it, because a lot of people, I don't like blaming parents for say, because I think what's happened now, a lot of stress has just been put on parents alone, because parents are actually bringing up their children by themselves more time now. No help from the aunties, the uncles, the grandparents. It's just them. When I say, like, if I go to you, use my uncle, you'll be echoing what my dad says. Then I go to a cousin, an older cousin. He's echo. So I'm hearing the echo chamber. Now they're just hearing it from their parents. So you discard it.
What I'm saying that I support my siblings, them. You know, see it, but because of the colonial virus,
Yeah.
we use children to punish one another.
Yeah.
You understand, you know? And we must not sit down and talk grievance in the midst of children.
What do you mean?
You know, talking down your siblings, them or other people with children, because what they do, you're poisoning their mind.
Or I think even talking about the child in front of the child is bad.
Yeah, of course it's bad.
If you say, "Oh, Jermaine's such a bad you," and you're saying it in front of him, he's gonna play off of that all the time. He's
If you keep on telling your child, especially boys, that they're bad, you will see what happens.
Yeah.
You know, see it, you know? These are signals that send, you know, see it. But you see, this is not, because remember, you know, what our parents taught us is what their grandparents taught them. And what their other parents taught them and going to, but who taught them, you know, so what I'm saying, the colonizer, until we come to realize.
No, yeah, because some people, like, if you go back like 3 granddads, then you're going back to slavery. You see what I'm saying? Because if you count every granddad as 100 years, so you're near, even if it was after slavery, even 100 years after slavery, imagine what that person went through and how they was living. So then your granddad could have went through a madness, because certain things that's come out of in my family, whatever, what my dad and his brother and sister went through, I was like, raw. Is that what they went through? So a lot of stuff starts making sense now.
Of course.
You know what I mean? Why people are the way they are. You know what I mean? Because you're like, they went through some different trauma, you know? But that's why I think, like, my generation, I think the difference is, like, most men I know are there for their children and whatnot, because their dad might not have been able to, but now it's rubbed off on them where they're there for their children more. If you see what I'm saying, because they don't want to leave their child and make their child be like how they was. And they're there more emotionally for their children, physically, all in every aspect. I'm seeing a lot of people pull up their socks when it comes to children. I noticed a lot of the people that was on road and all of that, they actually turn out to be good fathers, because they know how to direct their children away from that.
You have to rise up. You have to rise up the mothers, them also.
Yeah, 100%.
That allow you to be that good father, you know, because, you know, this is what I'm saying. You know, when 2 people can come together for the benefit of the child, you know, see, why, to me, no, it's not about you, it's about the child. And that's the beauty to see today. I see young people, you know, see, it coming together for the benefit of the child. You know, see, I know sometimes you have to get like a mediation. Then that is where the family come in.
Yeah.
You know, see it, you know? But you see, when we gonna know that young people is coming together and don't give them the encouragement, the support, because that's what they need. Young people doesn't have the money that adults have.
Yeah. No, I think that's actually, I agree and I disagree with that one point there, because I think these young people over 18, let's say over 18, like, even in jobs now, like when I was 18 and I got a job, I was getting £5.50. But say someone older than me, they'll be getting like 9 up. These youngers are getting jobs that are exactly the same pay as the older people in the company. You see what I'm saying? That when I left school, I was happy for the £5.50. But like, say like my older cousin, he's getting paid like £4 more.
That's it.
So they put us on the same playing field, and younger people are more trivy, or they're more media savvy. So they're making money in different directions we can't even think of.
All right. Just look on it and say that. More knowledge.
More knowledge, yeah. Right? Yeah.
But knowledge without wisdom is like a blind man looking for an eagle in a dark room. And this is what you have.
Yeah.
You have people with more money, but doesn't have the adequate mind to govern what they have. So it govern them.
That's facts.
And that's what I'm saying.
That's why these record labels pay these like artists that are talking all this so much money. Like, they're getting paid money. Like, you know what I mean? Like, man's 19 getting 25 grand or whatever for one single.
Yeah.
So that's more than your uncle, your auntie making a year that they can even save. Your parents can save in a year or 2, 3 years. If you're lucky, if you could save 25 grand in this time. So it gives them authority. So it's like they're looking down on their elders now because they're making more money. But like you just said, they got more money, but they don't have the wisdom. So they fall, so they're gonna fall, so they can fall short sometimes or go back into jail or worse off. You know what I mean?
Because that is it. You know? Because what I'm saying that if you're from a family, you know, you have a responsibility to restore that family. You know? A family is like a roof, you know. If a slate go missing, then you have to replace it.
Yeah.
So certain family member, you have to take them out because they're like, you know, say one bad apple. You have to remove that bad apple. Wow. You know, see it. You can't just sit down there and make certain things. You know, see it. You have certain. Remember, you know, your tongue and your gum and your lip was there even before teeth. And teeth come as a majority and still have to leave them. You understand? It's the same thing with life. You know, see,
Yeah.
You know, you come into certain things, my virgin, you have to know, say, wow. Yeah. So make I see around who needs. You understand, you know? Who needs, because everything move on a piston, you know? If you know that a car drive on a pull a piston, you know, give and take. If you just give the car break down. And this is why a lot of us will break down because we just love take, and never give.
Yeah. That's facts.
You know, because this is the society that we live in. This is a taking society. They've been taken from people that's how them come to be who they are. You know, see it, you know? Them said, when criminals set the rule, justice is bankrupt.
Yeah, and these people, I think they're doing it even more so in our face now, because I think in the 90s or the 80s, they couldn't have done no lockdown with them people there. The white people, the black people of them times wouldn't have had it. That's why they could do these things now, because they got media, social media, mediating our social life. So they could spread fear directly to the palm of your hand. You know what I mean? Not just to the TV screen. Like now you're on the go being constantly pumped with fear.
Social engineering, because many people now do it for the like, not the right. You have to be honest with yourself. You know, see it, you know?
Yeah, no,
these are the things that is where you are. You know? You're using it for the right. But others are using it for the like. Oh, it's gone viral and you see it, you know. Yeah. But you have to realize that in social media was set up. You have to know how social media set up, you know. Social media set up that you can spy on yourself. Social media was set up after 9/11.
Yeah.
You understand, you know?
Yeah.
You know, where that's why them capture some of them, because some of them chat so much and they don't even know where them are chat say. You know, see,
whatever you say will be used against you.
See it. But when you have to rise up, pass, you know, progressive ancestral secret service, and these are young people that come together.
Okay.
To put together intelligence service. You know, see, because if we say that we're at war, you know, who help to classify the information that we're getting? Who help to break them down? If you go back and hear what Winston Churchill said, because truth is so precious, we have to bodyguard it with a barrage of lies. I never said that, you know, this is what I said. Yeah. So you have to realize that some of the information that we are running on, then directly put it out there to divert us. You know, see it, you know. And when you go into a state of diversion, you end up into distraction. And distraction start to develop memory loss.
Yeah.
You It's distraction cause many of our people them in this memory loss. You know?
I say so. Yeah, we're entering the last 10 minutes or so. Is there anything you would like to say in the last 10 minutes, or anything you like to ask, or anything topic, or anything you like to say in the last 10 minutes that you like to bring to the people? Them.
Well, we have reparation coming up, the first of Messiah. You know?
So let me interject quickly because you said what do you think of Ibrahim Traore as well?
Oh, man.
And how can that intertwine? Because I done a post on Ibrahim Traore March. It went viral. It's my best piece of journalism so far. Like all across the world, it's gone. And I wasn't even doing it for that. I just done it and I've seen it used all across the world. And everyone's asking, what's the next thing we need to be at? Because a lot of people, especially I would like to know who organised those protests, the social media presence ain't there with these things. So a lot of people, after I posted it, like, why didn't you tell me? Because I didn't even know. I found out on the day, someone said, "Raw, Vauxhall, my friend who lives like in that area, there's something going." So I just rushed down there, sort of thinking, okay. So yeah, so what do you think about Ibrahim Traore and how does that intertwine with Reparations Day? Because to me, that was one of the most beautiful marches I've seen because the collective of Africans and Caribbeans coming together, which we don't see. I ain't seen that at Reparations Day.
Yeah, I see it on Reparations. You know, those Biafran brothers, them.
Okay.
Them day, yeah. But what I'm saying, them said consciousness is an awareness.
Yeah.
What we pay attention to is what we become conscious of. So we have to ask ourselves, what are we paying attention to? You know? What I'm saying that if Africa sneeze, we catch cold here. And that is the same thing. So what you're saying that with Ibrahim Traore, link up with those young people in Africa. Link up, you know, because right now we at Galaxy, every Friday and Sunday, there's a young presenter from Kenya that give their own, there's a spot there for them to reach out to their people, because what they can say on Galaxy, they could never say it on a station there in Kenya.
Okay.
You know, so this is what I'm saying. We have to support our young people. You know, see it. We have to come together and see what we can send to them. Because when a sister, you have a brother, he talk to you and say, you know, I need to go to so and so to rescue, sir. Because them do a lot of rescue down there. You know, a lot of the group and the young people, I mean, especially in Kenya, you know, they're doing work, that social service, you know, so they're doing certain time. If you send them a little change, at least help pay for bus fare to do certain things. So this is what I'm saying. You know, we have to invest in our young people and we have to support them. Because when other people come and invest in them and give them contract and give all Michael a contract and Michael come back as Michelle, then we start to complain.
Hey, that's a whole next topic.
But the whole thing about it, brother, I'm glad for the eye.
Yes, sir.
I'm glad for the eye to see the different level that the eye take from where it was at Galaxy. You understand? Because everything is an upgrade.
Yeah.
You understand? You know?
Yeah.
And the energy that you take to bring it to where it is, it just continue part of us, my virgin. It's just a tree with different branch.
Yeah, 100%, man. That's always at my foundation in whatever I'm doing online. You know what I mean? In the sense of that journey I went through. Big up Sister Ebony and Beloved, who I was doing a show with, and also big up Nat 9 Stella as well. Big them up. They're doing amazing things in the community. I need to get you lot on air as well, Nat 9 Stella. You know what I mean?
yeah, you know, and I want to rise up my children.
Yeah.
You know, that stand by me over the years. You know, see it and realize that, you know, it's not like said, they just overstand. You know, see it. I never have no problem with them because, you know, the more time when they're on Liberation Road, you're out there.
Yeah.
You know, see it. And what really keep me at Galaxy for 37 years is a wonderful woman. You understand? A lot of one doesn't realize that you can't depend on a platform when I bring in money. And there's not a lot of women ever put up with that. You know, see it, and because she know the cause. You know, and these are the things that we have to give thanks for. You understand? Because a lot of man said behind, but I know you're not the behind. Beside, right beside. You know, see, John, we never come together because of an economical or financial or them kind of thing. It's because of the cause.
Okay.
You know, see, so we have to rise her up. She's not that well at the moment. She have what, nearly two strokes. You know, so now she's, you know, but you have to hold on upon that energy and help to know that it's life.
How long have you been together?
As I said, you know, 30. You see him, we're not together it's around 30. It was 1 year before I joined Galaxy.
Okay, wow.
You know, she play a great role in a Galaxy. If you hear the jingle, in this world of trouble, a station, is she write it?
Okay.
You know, they play a great role in the community, you know.
No, I've got, sorry. Go on.
You know, they play a great role in the community. A lot of these sisters, just like Sister Zebi that gone on to, you know, they play a great role, my brethren.
No, it's facts. And every protest I go to, activist thing, or someone get licked down by the police, it's always the black women at the forefront. The bad man, these people, they disappear. It's always the woman on the forefront.
African woman, may I tell my brethren, where would we be today? You know, see, and this is why Africa is in this trouble, because they throw out the African woman principle. You know, see it. So we now deal with nurturing. We now deal with the womb energy. We are deal with the dick. That's why you have a lot of dictators. Simple as that.
Yeah. No, but yeah, man. It was an honor to have the eye on today, man. Honor to have the eye on. Hopefully, in the future, I could come back onto Galaxy and do something. You know, always there.
You're always welcome, you know, brethren.
Yeah.
You're always welcome, you know, because we're not dealing with no prodigal son, because we don't have no fat calf. You know, we're not into that where you run away and abuse certain things. This is the thing where them turn us into prodigal son. We take African money and come to Europe, come squander it out and want to go back to Africa to fat his calf.
Yeah.
You know, see, but what I said, you ain't going to kill the calf. We're going to give the prodigal some rotted lick to have some sense. You understand? So you're welcome anytime, my brethren. As family, you know, and give thanks to the young people in here that is running this media.
Yeah, man. Big up everyone. Yeah, man. So, what's your social media app? What's your Instagram? What's Galaxy? Your
well, you can see some of my work them on YouTube under Dr. Aboo Jatata. You know, see Vodum Production.
Okay.
You know.
I'll put a link in the bottom as well.
Yeah, man. You know, and you know, I'm a dub poet. You know.
What's that? The Instagram?
No, I'm a dub poet.
Okay.
You know, I'm a poet. You know. You know, I do poet like our enemy who art in England. Babylon is thy name. They will remain the same on earth, but not in heaven. Jailing us each day for our daily bread, and lead us into conviction to deliver us to evil. For evil is their kingdom, their power, their glory, and they shall burn in hell forever. Amen. Good
Amen. Yeah, done it on that.